Have you ever felt like you were completely over something and then just like that, you end up falling right back into the thing that you thought you overcame? Yeah, I've been experiencing that more than I would have liked. But before until now, I didn't think that this was a part of the process. I didn't realize that despite all the time that I've spent grinding and feeling like I've made progress, that old thing, those old roots can still sink me back into what I thought I already escaped. But then I thought about it. You know, if you're anything like me, you've had years upon years of constant lies being planted in your mind, constant wounds being stored in there, just poison tainting your mind, and all of our thoughts and everything we think continuously, they're all just seeds, simply put. And the thoughts that we think continuously are the seeds that not only multiply, but they also get nourished. They also grow into something more, good or bad, it doesn't matter. And it took some time for me to actually be able to look back and realize, like, I've had all these years of the same kind of plants, just all this negativity, the doubt, the lack of belief, all of that has just had plenty of wonderful time and just some of the best nutrients that it could get. And the roots have grown exponentially deep into my mind, and I can't expect to just overcome something in a year and a couple months, a week. Like, it's not going to work that way. It's a process that has to be attacked, chipped away, at least a little, day by day. And now that I mentioned the chipped away a little day by day, it made me think of this guy whose wife unfortunately passed away due to, I think, a disease. And they couldn't get to the kind of treatment that would have saved her life because there was a mountain in the way. So when his wife passed away, he decided to dig away at this mountain, chip away at this bit by bit, so that no one else has to experience the kind of loss that he's experienced because they didn't have a route to get to the hospital in time. So it took him, if I'm not mistaken, you can fact check me on this, but it took him at least 20 years to finally chip away enough just to actually have a tunnel that gets built through so that people can actually make it around and make it to the destination in a timely manner. And our minds operate the same exact way. It may not always take 20 years, or I'm not saying that it will take 20 years, but it's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit more time than we expected it to. We can't expect the healing process to just be quick and easy, or whatever we see as quick, or whatever we see as long. Maybe it takes a little bit longer than that. Depending on how much years or how much time that we actually spent nourishing those thoughts and beliefs that aren't necessarily the most advantageous to us. So if you continue to fall back into what you thought you overcame, or you feel like you can't break away from whatever it is that's holding you hostage, just know that all of your efforts are not futile. And that just because you're struggling with this now doesn't mean that you'll always struggle with it. It's going to be a continuous process. And it's up to you to continue walking, even though things don't look like how you would think that they will look. One other thing, and I'll close this out. I was talking to God, I believe, last night. And he told me a lot of things. But after a certain point, I said, thank you, because I thought he was done. He was like, nope, I'm not finished yet. Hold on. And he told me one thing that I need from you is to not worry about the numbers, to not worry about what the circumstances say or how things look right now, because none of that stuff matters. All of this time that you're experiencing these lack of what you think is lack of numbers or results or whatever it is that you're attacking, all this period is just a test period. It's to build up your faith. It's to build up your character. It's to help you become someone stronger. It's to actually help you to be forged into the kind of person who can handle what is in store for you. He was telling me that if we don't go through these time periods where maybe we're not seeing what we thought we would see in X amount of time, if we don't go through these periods, then we're not going to be able to withstand. You know, whenever the big tidal wave of blessings comes, or whenever we finally truly step into the stage in our calling that actually yields these kind of results that are maybe just a bit unfathomable unto us. Maybe the blessing, maybe the stage that we step in our calling is exponentially larger than what we imagine. You know, so that means that we have to stay in this area in our life that it's not the most appealing. You know, we struggle, we're suffering, we're in pain. Maybe that just calls for us to stay in this time period for longer than we know. So as we aren't the ones who created the plan anyways, created the calling anyways, so it's up to us to just trust and continue walking, especially when it doesn't look like we're walking anywhere. So if you made it this far in the video, I greatly appreciate you. Shout out to you, because you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to sit here this long, hang out with me. So thank you, and happy conquering to you. I hope I see you in the next video. Adios for now.